There are a lot of videos on the internet that show you how to wax your snowboard. I'm going to show you that you can do it cheaply and easily and do a good job of it on your own in your own home. So a lot of people ask me, when should I actually wax my snowboard? When do I actually need it? Now generally if it's a brand new snowboard, your snowboard will have a factory wax on it. So it will last 1 or 2 weeks of riding from when you got your new snowboard. After that you'll notice that you'll get some dry spots on your snowboard where it just looks a bit white and a little bit dry. And that's when your base is starting to dry out, and that's when you really want to put some wax on it to keep your feet up and stop your base from being damaged. So now we're going to talk about what we need to wax our snowboard. So first off is our iron. So you don't need to go out and spend a load of money on a specialist waxing iron. Something like this would do absolutely fine. It's about £5 from your local supermarket, and even with the steam holes in the top, all I find that just makes a slightly rougher finish on the wax before you scrape it off. Apart from that, it doesn't really matter at all. So something like that will do absolutely fine. Next up is your wax. Now unless you're racing or competing, or you're just trying to get the last sort of mile an hour out your snowboard, then it doesn't really matter what wax you use. Any sort of general all-purpose or any wax really will work absolutely fine. You probably won't notice the difference. So grab any wax and that'll be fine. Last up is your scraper. Doesn't have to be anything special, just something with a nice flat straight edge that you can use to scrape the wax off your board, and that'll be absolutely fine. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take off our binding. Now it's not essential, but it'll stop you getting them little bubbles of wax forming where your inserts are. Turn the board upside down and have a little look at it. Now a lot of people say you should clean your board before you wax it every time. Now this isn't necessarily the case. If you are in the dead of winter and you're just riding fresh snow and it's all pretty clean snow, then you don't need to wax your board to clean your board all the time. Have a little look. If you have been riding in the spring or where there's been more debris or on a dry slope like I have recently, you might find your base is a little bit more dirty, and therefore you probably should give it a clean. Now there's a lot of really expensive cleaners on the market that you can use, but otherwise you could just use any sort of basic citrus based cleaner, or the easiest way is just to grab your iron and just run it up and down your snowboard just to heat up your base a little bit. What this does is it opens up the pores in the snowboard base, and it means that you can get all the dirt out by waxing it off. So heat it up a little bit. I'm going to need to turn my iron up a little bit, making sure that whenever you are using your iron, you don't want to let the snowboard get too hot. If your hand, you can feel the heat through on the top sheet underneath the snowboard, then it's going to start getting too hot, so you can keep the iron moving, take it off and let it cool down. If it gets too hard to touch the top of your snowboard underneath, then you could be damaging your snowboard. So take the iron off, turn it off, let your snowboard cool down and have another look at it. Then you're going to grab your scraper and just wax off. You're going to grab your iron and you're just going to start dripping it on. So if you just touch the wax on the iron, you see it start dripping like that, and that's ideal. Now if the iron starts to smoke or steam like that, then the iron's too hot and you are burning the wax. So just cool it down a little bit. This is about perfect, it's dripping nicely. And all I do is just run up and down one side, up and down the edges, if that's where you most often on your base, you need the most wax on there. You run all the way around, and then all you're going to do is just go down the middle, a nice even wax. And you don't actually have to have as much as you think. That'll probably do me. Shake off the rest of the wax. And now we've got a wax on the board. Just grab your iron, roll it up and down, and just smooth it all out. So to keep checking for underneath the snowboard, check it's not getting too hot. Now that you've got the wax nice and evenly spread out on your snowboard, if you're putting it away for a while, you're not going to be using it for a bit, then you can stop there, leave the wax on it, and it will help protect your base while you're not using it. Now if you're not even that fussed about it being really fast or anything, you can go riding on it like that if you want. The act of riding, or riding on rails or boxes or whatever, will scrape off the wax naturally. It will just take half a day or so for the board to sort of set in. If you do want it to go a bit faster then, be a better job, then grab your scraper. We're going to start scraping. So start on one half, and you're going to start scraping down the board to take off the excess wax. Now that you've finished scraping, you've got a nice smooth finish all over your snowboard. You can then once again leave it there if you like. There's one more thing you can do if you want to polish it up, make it up a little bit more faster. Then grab a Scotch pad or a Brillo pad, one of them green scouring pads, and just rub it in circular motions. It will help polish up your snowboard, make it up nice and flat, and it will just give you that extra speed out of your snowboard. So grab them then, give it a little polish, and that would be ideal. I hope this guide has proved useful. I hope you guys can get out there and wax your boards. Let us know how it gets on. If you've got any questions, go to bondringo.com or ask in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like, and see you next time. This stuff is blue. It will do.